Hey, 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 it is an unstoppable day. Welcome to the 21 Days of Gratitude on the Unstoppable Story Show. The Unstoppable Story Show, where we talk to ordinary people with unstoppable stories. Terrence Leffridge here, Dr. Terrence Leffridge, welcoming you in. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. No matter where you are watching us in the world, we're thanking you for taking some time out of your day to come hang out with us. And we are truly grateful for you. Now, on the Unstoppable Story Shows, we believe that over these next 21 days, you're going to focus on gratitude. You're going to forget about the things that you do not have. You're going to forget about the places you have not gone. You're going to forget about those struggles and those things that are bringing you down in the world, and you're going to take a moment to focus and get lifted up by the things you're grateful for. I'm grateful that you're able to see me right now. Are you grateful that you have sight? I'm grateful that you're able to hear me right now. Are you grateful that you have the gift of hearing? I'm grateful that you are able to use the internet to see me from wherever you are in the world. Are you grateful for the technology that allows this to be possible? See, before we've even started the show, I hope I've given you three things to be grateful for. And that's what we do over these next 21 days. I'll share some of my gratitude, and then we bring on some guests to share some of their great gratitude stories with you as well. And today we have a special guest. She's in my backyard right here in South Florida, but this is truly a woman of the world. We have our guest today. Her name is Cassie Eubanks. She is a spiritual hypnotherapist. She is a TEDx speaker. She is an author. She is a coach. But more importantly, she is a wonderful spirit, a beautiful person, and you're going to love her just like I love her. So let's bring her on to the stage right now. Cassie Eubank, how are you?
I am great, Terrence, and I'm so grateful to be here, to be with you, just shining on your stage. And I appreciate this. So thank you.
Well, we are so grateful that you took some time out of your busy schedule to be with us today. But before we jump into the conversation, I believe that you can tell us who you are so much better than I am. So give us 30 seconds and let us know who Cassie Eubank is.
I am a spiritual 5-year-old. And what I mean by that is I do love making sure that we're connected to spirit, connected to our soul, so that we can be divinely guided to feel as if we're walking on the right path and feel good in that way. But I also believe in having fun, which is why I do things like having chocolate fountains and events and, having, events at cool places because you got to have fun in life too. So I feel like I'm a spiritual 5-year-old, just staying connected, but just playing through life and having fun while blessing others as much as I can.
Well, even though you're 25, I'm glad you have that spirit of a 5-year-old still. So you're here down in sunny South Florida along with me, right?
I am, and it's nice to be here. A little crisp in the air, which is a nice change. So glad to be here.
Well, if you lived where I used to live, you probably wouldn't be making that statement. But that's the beautiful thing about gratitude. While some people who where I used to live would be grateful to come down here because it's 70 degrees warmer than where I came from, you're grateful that it's 20 degrees cooler than it would normally be just a month ago, right?
And when I'm in Vermont visiting my son and it's 0 degrees, I'm grateful because I'm there with them. I get to experience the contrast. So wherever you are, you can be grateful.
Yes, and that's what this show is all about, making sure that we find the things that you can be grateful for. So, tell us a little bit about what you do as a spiritual hypnotherapist, and then tell us about you as the TEDx speaker.
Okay, well, as a clinical hypnotherapist and spiritual hypnotherapist in life, so many times the truth is we come down as a pure and perfect soul, and we're put in this human body in this crazy, messy, beautiful, wondrous world. But sometimes it gets confusing as we navigate that human and we develop beliefs about what we're capable of, what we can and can't do. And these negative beliefs they tend to take over, and we get stuck in feeling bad because we feel like our circumstances aren't what they should be. And a lot of that is not practicing gratitude. It's focusing on what's wrong rather than what's right. And that's why practicing gratitude in this 21 days of gratitude is so important, to lock that in and to listen and take these practices and do them, because you can shift that. 80% of our thoughts are negative, and we repeat those same thoughts 95% of the time. So if that's the case, we really have to exercise this muscle of gratitude so that we can vibrate higher. And that way we can manifest more, we can be happier, we can have more joy, more success, more of the things that, because we are here to learn, grow, and expand. And when we're doing that, we feel connected with soul. And we can do that through gratitude.
You know, I love that quote that you just said so well. I'm going to make sure I get it on the screen in just a second, because you talked about the gratitude being a muscle. And I couldn't agree with that more than ever. So we're going to talk about exercise the muscle of gratitude. Let me throw that up there on the screen right now so that you guys can forever remember that this came from Cassie Eubank. Yes, you got to exercise that muscle of gratitude. Imagine if we all got up every day at 4:30, 5 o'clock, put on our clothes, ran out the door, got in the car, went to the gym, walked in the gym, and went to the very back of the gym. And there was this weight called gratitude. And to the left of it, there's a big full length window, and you get to see the sun coming up. And to the right, there's another full length window, and you get to see, well, down here is the iguanas, but maybe in Mississippi or maybe in Alabama, it's the chickens, and you hear them cock-a-doodle-doo it, and you get to be grateful for the sights and the sounds while you exercise that gratitude muscle. Can you imagine
And the
if we all just
coolest
took
thing,
a moment?
the gratitude muscle is light. It's not even heavy. It's so easy.
Yes, yes, and you know what? I'm loving it. I'm playing with you. The gratitude muscle is so light, but we tend to carry that heavy muscle of despair. We tend to carry that baggage of despair and pain and disbelief and disappointment. We'd rather carry that around when the bag of gratitude is so light and so airy and so lifting.
And that's because when we're younger and things happen that disappoint us or make us feel not good enough, we develop these parts that want to protect us from being hurt. So they say, well, don't really try. It's not going to work out. And it tells you all these negative things to keep you from risking anything, to keep you from trying, to keep you from believing in yourself. And that's where hypnotherapy comes in, because if we could fix this and just say, I want to have better thoughts, I want to be in gratitude, I want to vibrate higher and manifest what I want. With our logical mind, we would already do it. But it's that subconscious mind, that greater, that other than conscious mind, that really runs the show, because in the background, it tells you what you can and can't do. If I have a belief that something is going to be hard and I'm not going to reach my goal anyway, then that's going to make me feel bad. And that feeling is going to dictate my actions. If I'm feeling bad about it, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to stay away from that, and I'm not going to get the results that I want. And people are so afraid of failure, when really, if you think about it, I might be a better basketball player than Michael Jordan,
Yeah.
because he has actually lost 366 professional games, and I have not lost one. So if you're measuring
Right.
so if you're measuring things by losses, then I could argue I'm a better basketball player, which is totally ridiculous, of course, but it just proves the point that failure is not failure. These were the stepping stones on the way to 6 national championships, to winning even more games. This was his path to greatness. There's no such thing as failures. There's only experience and outcomes that didn't come out the way we wanted to. But we need to have those to be able to get the ones that we do want and get them more consistently. And through hypnotherapy, when we talk to that subconscious mind, well, what are you afraid of? You say that you're trying to protect them so that they aren't miserable by making mistakes, but you're making them miserable. So what can we do instead? What would be a kinder thing? And you're making more of the problem you're trying to prevent. Let's come up with a healthier strategy. And then through hypnosis, implanting that in the subconscious mind. And keep in mind, you cannot implant anything that isn't for their highest good. They won't listen. I can't say to anybody, go rob a bank and bring me all that money in a wheelbarrow, okay? Because
Right.
they would see, they're like,
Yeah,
no, I'm
this
not
ain't
doing
the
that.
movies.
Right. But if they were to want to do that, they would take it themselves. They wouldn't give it to me. So in hypnosis, it's just implanting things that people know are true. You are worthy. You can have these things. It might take you a couple of different paths to get there, but you needed information along the way so that you would be even more successful. Trust in the universe, trust in God, trust in yourself. You can do this. And when you stay in gratitude, you'll be vibrating at that frequency to attract it, because that is the only frequency that is equal to or greater than love.
I love it. You guys, we are hanging out with Cassie Eubanks, spiritual clinical hypnotherapist, TEDx speaker, author, and coach on the 21 Days of Gratitude. And I like how we are aligned, you with what you do in hypnotherapy and what I do in coaching, because the actual name Unstoppable Coaching, we focus on the ABAL as opposed to the STOP. We want you to focus more on what you're able to do and less on those things that are stopping you. And one way we do that is by helping people to see all the things that they are grateful for, big and small. And when I was talking to you today about what your gratitude story is, you told me that you're grateful for not just one big thing, but a lot of small little things. And you actually have a term for it. What would that be, Cassie?
I call it micro gratitude because in every little thing, you can soak up so much more gratitude when you look at the minutia. Like we were talking, and there's so many things I could be grateful for. But this evening, I'm wiping down these recliner rafts that go in my pool and blowing them up, making sure they're full. Now there's 20 of them. And why would I be grateful for cleaning rafts? Well, because what it represents, I'm having 20 people over to float in my pool while I do a sound healing from the edge. I get to bless them with this unique, wonderful experience. I get to be blessed with their company. We're having a chocolate fountain. So it's going to be fun. And that kid like part that I like to have is going to be there. We get to connect, we get to build relationships. We get to know each other on a deeper level. We get to share this beautiful experience. So it's not the cleaning of the rafts, it's not the cleaning of the house. But when I do that, instead of going, the house, or it's not. It's a joy because of what it leads to. It's part of the bigger picture. And when we drill down on every little thing, you were saying earlier, are you grateful for your hearing? And I have a brother that's deaf. And
Mm.
because of that, I know sign language. And, I've always been grateful for him. And I've always thought it was kind of cool that I got to learn sign language and I know a few words, that I can use. But this really came in handy because, as you know from my TED Talk was about when it comes to the future, don't let anybody tell you what it's going to hold. The future is a fabrication. It hasn't happened. It's an imagination. So as long as if somebody tells you it's going to turn out poorly, consider that a lie and tell yourself a better lie and make that your truth. Fabricate a better future. And around that was the story of my son when he was diagnosed with cancer. And when my son had his first surgery, it was, it was 12 hours. They had to take so much out and rework so much. And he came out where you couldn't see his neck. He was intubated, so he couldn't talk, and his eyes were slits. And
Wow.
they gave him a medicine that he was having a bad reaction to. He was going down what they call a ketamine hole, and because they were out of Dilaudid, and he was having a really bad experience. Here he is, just out of 12 and a half hour surgery, having this experience. He can't write, he can't communicate. And then he remembered that I taught him sign language as a boy. And so
Mhm.
he started telling, with doing the alphabet and just separating each word. I was able to find out what was wrong. We were able to switch it. And over the next couple of days until the swelling came down and he was no longer intubated, you know, I was able to communicate and be there. Now, what are the odds of that? And when I
Yeah.
told my brother the story, he just started crying because here he is. My sister's learned sign language. You taught it to your son. And because of this, and he's fine with it. But, we tend to go, oh, how unfortunate, but he's fine with it. They've got other ways. So they don't always know what they're missing. But he was just so touched and so moved that because of him, it got my son through something terrifying at a time when he really needed help. So there's gratitude in everything.
Yes. I mean, just in these last 3 minutes, I'm grateful for the gift of storytelling. I'm grateful for the gift of healing for your son. I'm grateful that you learned sign language. I'm grateful that I know somebody else that I was just connected to a month ago that has a whole sign language speaking organization. So I'm definitely going to connect you to. And so, just in listening to a story, you can find three, four, five things you can be grateful for. You could be grateful. I'm grateful that I wasn't in your son's situation. So that makes me have more gratitude for the things that, you know, are going right in my life as opposed to the things that could not be going right. And I think audience, this I hope you're picking up what Cassie's putting down, because that's what we want. We want you to not just be so focused on that one big thing that's holding you down. Start focusing on all those the little things that you can be grateful for, that if you stack them on top of each other, they become just as big as that thing that you're allowing to push you down. Would you agree with that, Cassie?
I would. And Terrence, I love to share with people the 90-10 rule.
Yes.
And the 90-10 rule, or 10-90 rule, whichever way you want to flip it, spend 10% of the time, because we do have situations that require our attention. It doesn't mean they're a problem. They're just situations that require our attention. Spend 10% of your time figuring out what the problem was, and spend 90% of your time going into what the solution can be and what the best solution will be. And once you have
Love
your
it.
solution, then look at why it happened, not to blame, but to stop it. So the intent with which you look at, okay, how could we have done better? Why wasn't that what we expected? Sometimes just because that's life. But looking at it for the intent of shoring up systems and not for the intent of blame in any way. And when you approach it that way, it's just a beautiful way because you're in solutions. And what we focus on is what we get. If you focus on the problem, you're going to have more problem. If
Yeah.
you focus
And
on the solution, you'll have more solutions.
and another way of spinning what you just said is 10% of life is what happens to you. 90% is how you react to it. Now
Absolutely.
you can choose to spend your 90% reacting negatively, or you could choose to spend that 90% reacting positively. Is 10% negativity or 90% gratitude? You get to choose. And each and every day we get an opportunity to make that choice. And hopefully you're surrounded with people like Cassie in your life so that you're always making the right choice to choose to be soaking up the gratitude in all of the little things. So after you blow up these 20 balloons and after you have all these people in your pool and you do your thing, what else do you do to experience gratitude in your life?
I experience gratitude as a state. I love to just wake up thinking about gratitude, always shifting my focus back to gratitude, even walking, just saying thank you with each step. Writing bills, thank you that I got to experience these things. Thank you that that I have flow in my life. So I like to practice gratitude as a state the best I can. And when I get into the middle of things and I'm focused on projects and I'm in that zone, which I love being in too, I always like to come back to gratitude. So, but it's just a matter of what are the things that make your heart happy. For me, it's music. It's doing fun things with friends. I've got a murder mystery dinner coming up, Malice in Wonderland, because even though
Wow.
I even though I love working with people, helping people heal, helping people raise their vibration so they can become unstoppable, those things fill my heart up, all of them. But it's just about balancing the helping with fun, because it's great to feel good, but let's go have some fun. Let's engage in life fully and completely. And as I've been talking with you, one of the things I like to share with people and invite them to do is practice radical self gratitude. And when you talk about unstoppable, when you have that gratitude for who you are, for the experiences that you've gone through in life, that you've come out the better end, that you've allowed it to help you grow instead of closing you off. And even at times when you did hibernate to absorb those lessons, you still came back out and you showed up. All the times that you were there for others, feeling gratitude for that, feeling gratitude for your compassion, feeling gratitude for all that you've been through, radical self compassion and gratitude, self gratitude. Those things will really make you unstoppable, because when you're feeling like, you know what? I do feel good about myself. I can do this. I'm grateful. I've been through things before. I'm not failing. I'm just going out there and living. I'm engaging. There's no such thing as failing. There's only experiences. I'm going to live fully and completely. That is when you become unstoppable. And that is what the marvelous Dr. Terrence will help you with.
I'm going to snip this part, and this is going to be the motivation for the rest of the week. Radical self gratitude. I thank you so much for that. And you know what? Yeah, that's a perfect word, because when you are radical about your gratitude, then you don't have time for the negativity. When you are radical about your gratitude, then you don't have time for the naysayers. When you are radical about your gratitude, then you can't be pulled back into that something something that keeps pulling you back. That baggage can't hold you back, because when you're radical about your gratitude, you throw that baggage away, because you know there's more things to pick up along the way. And
It's
it's those
completely
little,
irrelevant. It's
yes,
irrelevant. So you're unstoppable. You are untethered. Yes,
yes, I
you
love it.
get
You
it.
guys, you are hearing it. You're hearing it from Cassie Eubanks. She is dropping knowledge. Hopefully, you are picking up those nuggets. You got your pen and paper, because note takers are change makers. And we're looking to change your mind in these 21 days of gratitude. We're asking you to have an attitude of gratitude and to leave that baggage behind. Cassie, it's been a pleasure knowing you, getting to knowing you, hanging around with you. Being involved in the TEDx platform here locally, along with the great CC Aspew. I thank you for coming on the show. I'm going to give you the last word before we wrap it up today. So, for anybody who is not familiar with the micro gratitude and is having trouble soaking up every little thing that they should be grateful for, what would you say to them today?
I would say just look around, look at the little things. Just take a moment, shut out the past, don't think about the future, be in the present and look around, especially if you're outside, because the things that God has given us, the beauty in nature, trees, plants, the grass, even just that feeling of being grounded in the earth, that can automatically reset you from a negative state. That's why people will go outside and walk barefoot, because it grounds you. So ground yourself, give yourself that gift. Look for it, because what we focus on, we will find. So find that gratitude. It will change your life.
Wow. That's Cassie Eubanks, you guys, here on the 21 Days of Gratitude on the Unstoppable Story Show. We thank you so much. We continue to hope for great things for you throughout the rest of this year into the next year. We hope you continue to soak up all the gratitude, not only this coming weekend at your event, but each and every weekend after that. And of course, you're always welcome to come back on the Unstoppable Story Show. Would you do that for us?
I would love to. It's been an honor. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, Dr. Terrence. You are a gem.
And you are unstoppable. Thank you, Cassie. Hey, you guys, that's our time here on the 21 Days of Gratitude on the Unstoppable Story Show. We hope you enjoyed this gratitude story and stick and stay because we got another one tomorrow on the way. But listen, maybe you have a gratitude story that you want to share with us. Maybe there's something you are grateful for. We'd love to hear about it. So go on and click that link below and send us a message. And who knows, you may be the next guest on the Unstoppable Story Show, where we talk to ordinary people with unstoppable stories. But until our next show, wherever you are in the world today, you know what I say. Don't just make it a great day, but share your gratitude story, and you won't help but to make it an unstoppable day. Take care.